Hey everyone, so I am here with part 2 of my hauling, and this video is the book are mostly books that I bought. Some of these books I was given by coworkers or whatever, and I'll explain that. And there's some books I got with book credit. So these are not galleys, these are all like books that are available for purchase. I just did it separately because I just have so many. So, I'm going to jump in and try and give you guys the best descriptions of these books that I can, because sometimes I get them and I'm not exactly sure what I'm about to get into. Alright, so this one was given to me for free. It is News of the World by Paulette Giles. This has been out for a while. This is the paperback version, obviously, I guess. But, this is a book taking place, I cannot remember when this is taking place, but basically this was like a National Book Award finalist last year, and it's like a post-Civil War Texas, and this guy is holding a Native American girl captive. A lot of people say it's good. A couple of people at work have read it and said it's really good. So they gave this to us in a box of galleys because it won the National Book Award. So what they're basically trying to do is push us to buy, to sell to our customers more paperback copies of this book. So they're like, oh, it did great. It almost won this award. Now it's out in paperback. Here's a copy for you all to read at the store. So basically you can try and sell it in its paperback form. So the next one you guys have seen, I first heard about this one from Michael Reeds. It is The Good Negress by A.J. Verdell. My coworker got this one for free, so he let me have it. He finished reading it and really liked it. I can't remember what it's about. It was published in the 1960s, or set in the 1960s or something like that. But Michael Reeds liked it, and I think Dee Dee from Brown Girl Reading liked it as well. I can't remember who was the first to read it, but I trust their opinions. I think I heard one bad review of it. They said it was boring, and their name is blanking. But I watch their channel a lot, and I cannot think of what their name is that quick. But nonetheless, I'm willing to give it a try, especially because I got it for free. So, this next one I'm really excited about. This was a birthday gift from my aunt, and it is What It Means When a Man Falls from the Sky by Leslie Nneka Arima. I've heard her name pronounced. I'm messing up now. So, if you have not listened to LeVar Burton Reads, aka Mr. Reading Rainbow, aka the guy from Star Trek. I don't know who he played in Star Trek. I never watched a day of Star Trek, but he's from Star Trek. He also played Kunta Kinte in Roots. He read the title story from this book for his podcast, where he reads a new short story a week. He's on break right now for season 1 of the podcast, but if you trust me, there are at least 13 episodes you can listen to while they're on break, and this, I think, is episode 4 or 5. This story, you guys, was so good that my aunt asked me what book I wanted for my birthday. I told her this one because I plan on reading it again. I've listened to the story, the actual story, What It Means When a Man Falls from the Sky, twice, and I plan on listening to it again whenever I read the story in this book. It's actually not the first story in this book, but whenever I get to it, I'm going to read it, and I've heard nothing but good things about this collection. It's her first collection of short stories. It's also just a beautiful book to kind of have, and I'm super excited to read that one with LeVar Burton narrating that story again. I love it. So the next book has a bit of a story behind it too. This one is called Land of Enchantment. It's a memoir by Leigh Stein. So I know I keep mentioning it, but my aunt's a priest, and so there was a kind of like a rally of 1,000 ministers or preachers or something like that, a couple weeks ago, and she had a house guest, who is the mother of this author, and she was telling me about this book and that she loved this particular book by her daughter. So the author, Lee, is recalling when she was in her early 20s and in like an emotionally, I don't know if he was physically abusive, but her ex-boyfriend was definitely emotionally abusive, and they ran away together and went to New Mexico together, and we're going to live out this beautiful like dream of love and happiness. I was hoping it was in paperback, but it's not. Nonetheless, I still plan on reading this one, and I'm excited to kind of see what her daughter went through. And she said that while her daughter was workshopping this piece, a lot of people asked her, "Where was your mother?" which was funny, but luckily her daughters and her are in a better place. So I'm also interested in figuring out, where was she when all this was going on? So that is that. And the next book I saw in one of Denise Cooper's video. I think she was like going through her stack of books, getting ready for her blackout in 2018. So what she's doing is reading nothing but African American authors in the year of 2018. So she was kind of sorting her books, and I saw this one. I think also on Twitter she said this is one of her favorite books, which is Blacker the Berry by Wallace Thurman. So this was a remainder, so it was discounted, and then I got my work discount on top of this discount. So I was like, okay, well, yeah, why not buy it? I hope you guys can see the cover, because I can't really see it. I also have like a privacy screen on my phone. But this one is about colorism in New York's Harlem during the 1920s. So it says, a lost classic of Black American literature, The Blacker the Berry is a compelling portrait of the destructive depth of racial bias in this country. A new introduction by Shirley Taylor Hazlip, author of The Sweeter the Juice, highlights the timelessness of issues of race and skin color. And I think she wrote The Sweeter the Juice was a response to this book, I think. I'm not sure, but I'm actually excited to read this too. I feel like I'm going to try and read this soon. Not sure how soon, but soon. Alright, so then I have another bag here of books I got with book credits at work. What happens is when we write reviews to post in the store, we get like 16 credits, which each credit is $1, and we can take home books. You just can't go in the negative, but it's also kind of like you pay full price for a book without really paying for it. But anyways, I was really excited to get this one. I'm not sure when I'm going to read it though, but it is The Cooking Gene, A Journey Through African American Culinary History in the Old South by Michael W. Twitty. So I'm not sure if he's a chef or what. I'm pretty sure he is. But basically, he goes through the South, and he traces soul food and where it comes from. And I think he also traces his family lineage while he's doing it. I remember seeing a couple of tweets of his where he was discussing white privilege, and he mentioned that it took thousands and thousands of dollars for him to research this book and research his own family, and to not have to do that is a privilege in itself, which he is right. But there are some pictures in here of like good old Southern cooking, and here he is with Dr. Henry Louis Gates Jr. Like, I've heard this book is good. Somebody said that they wish the narrative was a little bit more linear, but I'm more in it for the food, because I want to know, like of course we know that soul food is from down south, and it's because of slaves, cooking and stuff like that, but I really want to know more history behind it. And there was this comment that I remember from high school. One of my teachers, she's my AP Lit teacher, She's a white lady, and I know she means well, but she mentioned one time, she was like, well, let's think about soul food. Isn't that just Southern food? Like, isn't that just Southern cooking? And something about that didn't sit well with me. I was like 16 or 17. I couldn't figure out why what she's saying was making sense, but still, like, not actually on par. And I was like, that's because slaves were cooking food for white folks in the South. I mean, some of it hopefully rubbed off on them. I don't know. Do I know the exact history? No. And that's kind of why, what else also pushed me to buy this book, because then I could answer that question. The next one I bought, and I was waiting on, but when I ended up shelving this one at work. It wasn't necessarily on my list, but I knew I had to get it. Electric Arches by Eve L. Ewing. This is a collection of poetry about Black girlhood. And when I was in undergrad and especially grad school, I tried to focus on Black girlhood in literature. And I'm so happy to see more people out here writing about Black girls and Black girlhood. And so I knew I had to pick this one up. I'll probably read that one soon because I don't know, I just feel really excited about that one. This next one I bought because I'm getting back into writing. Ooh, problem with being outside is bugs. I'm trying to get back in the habit of writing fiction again. I used to write fiction in college, and when I was like a younger kid, I've always wanted to write a book. So I'm trying to get back into the habit of writing, and I want to brush up on my skills. So I bought this one, Francine Prose's Reading Like a Writer, a guide for people who love books and for those who want to write them. I thought to myself, I went to college, why am I buying this? But it's always good to brush up on your skills. I mean, when I say I went to college, I paid for a slightly creative writing degree. So I'm like, why am I buying this? But it's gotten good reviews, and I thought this would just be a good way to kind of keep myself sharp and to kind of spark those memories of what I have learned in school. So we'll also see what she has to say about reading like a writer and what good writing is. She's written a couple books herself, but I haven't read any of those. And coming up on the last two. So this one is kind of random. It's usually I think this book is less up my alley, but I've heard so many good things about it. Rules of Civility by Amor Towles, or is it Tolles? I think it's Tolles. I've heard Towles, I've heard Tolles. But he's known mostly for A Gentleman in Moscow, his new book. But Olive here on YouTube at A Book Olive said that this is her favorite book of all time. And she just was so passionate in her video of talking about this book. I haven't heard anybody say they didn't like this book yet. So I decided to pick it up, and I really want to read it soon. There are so many books I want to read soon, guys. I don't know how I'm going to get through all of them, but and I'm going to buy more, sadly. But this is a bit out of my comfort zone. It says, on the last night of 1937, 25-year-old Katie Contant is in a second-rate Greenwich Village jazz bar when Tinker Gray, a handsome banker, happens to sit at the neighborhood table. This chance encounter and its startling consequences propel her on a year-long journey toward the upper echelons of New York society, where she will have little to rely upon other than a bracing wit and her own brand of cool nerve. Some people say they were surprised once they read this book. I don't know exactly what they mean, but I'm guessing there's more to it than just what the description on the back says. I'm really excited to read this one too, because guys, I have been eyeing this book for months now, and I just felt like this was the right time, especially when I wasn't spending my own money, to pick this one up. And the last book is something I've been wanting to read since it came out, but it came out during my book buying ban, and that is We Are Never Meeting in Real Life by Samantha Irby. And these are essays by her. I don't know if you guys know, but she is the editor and creator of the blog Bitches Gotta Eat, and it's funny. I just love the title, and she's right, bitches gotta eat. But this is her second collection of essays. Her first one, Meaty, I don't think is as popular, but these publishing companies are getting smart because they are re-releasing that bad boy, and it's more in the, it matches this cover art a little bit better, but there's like a fat chicken or like a hen on the front. Meaty, get it? But I can't get my hands on that one because the new one comes, the new Vert copy, or like the new cover art comes out in January. But let me tell you what this one is, and then we'll be done. With heartfelt candor and her usual side-splitting bite, inimitable humorist, essayist, and blogger at bitchesgottaeat.com, Samantha Irby captures powerful emotional truths while chronicling the disaster that has been her life. An ill-fated pilgrimage and romantic vacation to Nashville to scatter her estranged father's ashes, awkward sexual encounters, a bachelorette application gone awry, and more. Sometimes you just have to laugh even when your life is a dumpster fire. See, yeah. So, you know, she's just kind of, you know, a lot of people say that this book, you know, you're laughing instead of crying. That's kind of how she's gotten through her life. So I'm excited to read this one too. I love me a good book of essays. So I love this cover art too. Like, I feel like every time I look at this, I'm sorry, it was mosquito. Every time I look at this book, I just hear this cat like meow. You know, I don't like cats, but I like this cover. All right, that's the end of this one. I know this one was kind of long too. Hopefully my next video will be shorter. Let me know if you guys are interested in any of the books that I've shown in this video, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Also, let me know if there are any books that I should get to before others. If you've read any of these books, let me know if I need to get to any of these books sooner or later. Okay, bye, for real this time.